More than 5,428 Ghanaian pilgrims will join an estimated 3.8 million on the annual Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca in a religious journey that is viewed as one of the Muslim faith's greatest acts of worship. The number of pilgrims from Ghana is based on the Saudi Arabia quota system. Every Muslim country has a Hajj quota of 1,000 pilgrims per million inhabitants, and the biggest continent of 200,000 pilgrims will come from Indonesia. Ghana, which has 25.5 million inhabitants, has been allotted 5,428 slots. The Hajj board has secured 12 flights from a Saudi airline to ferry prospective pilgrims to the Holy Land from today, from September 16 rather to September 30. And so the Hajj village got a lot busy right now, and Emmanuel Anta is there for us. He'll tell us what he's picked up from there so far. Well, I understand it's Kwabna Chentahene and not Emmanuel Anta, but you see live pictures at the moment on your screen from the Hajj village here in Accra. So like I was telling you, the journey started, airlifting of pilgrims have started since September 16, 3 days ago, and it's on till September 30, 2014. We're expecting over 5,200 pilgrims to make, or 5,400 pilgrims rather, to make the journey this year. And we are there to get first-hand information and experience of how different this year is. Well, over the past years, several concerns have been raised about the Hajj village, from sanitation challenges to overcrowding, because people who had gone with their family members to the place.
With piles of refuse last year, but this time round you can see that it is a bit clean. Everything is arranged. And there was also accommodation challenge from last year, which also became another challenge, another big problem for people. Everywhere was a bit not arranged properly. Now we can see some tents that have been arranged for people, for the elderly and the women and children to stay under, so that they will not be affected by the scorching sun. So there is much improvement as to what happened last year than this year. A lot more people. The toilet where we went to, the washroom where we went to last year, where that had a lot of challenge, that people were lined up for to go to take their turn into the place. Now it's changed. It's a bit changed. Everything is free. Everybody, the situation has also been improved. There was no water at the time, but now there is more water, as I'm being informed. I have some people around that I'm going to talk to, people who are part of the the pilgrims who are also traveling, to talk to some of them to tell us what they make of this particular situation. Some of them, we also talk about how the dollar, the depreciation of the cedi has affected their movement from here to the Holy Land. You're welcome to join you.
Thank you. But I'm doing
the same.
My friend Yakubu Musa, my friend B.
All right. Yeah. Me pacho who share say sanya hati any sanya hati last year no improvement ben abemu improvement abemu anase eti say.
Pacho no kure me hwe no TV so me am ba bi hada na this year yi na nyame ayem adoma me firi wanchi a me call Hajj ni bi na me be hu ha na TV so na me hwe high neat ye kama na ne ma ha ye fa ho ne ye dollar ne say for num ne se san no wo soro ama ye sikara nke se etua no akona nim kakra yeah.
Okay. So all that he's trying to say is that he was not part of it last year, but he watched everything that was reported on TV, and that was totally different from what he's seeing, what he's witnessing here this time round. He's observing how clean the place looks instead of the way it was filthy last year. And now let me also speak to another person, another gentleman who is also on his way to the Holy Land. You're welcome to join me.
Thank you, sir.
What's your name?
I'm Zaid Abbas from the Wenchi Bunafu region, okay. Buzia town, Nara.
All right. How do you compare this time to last year?
Oh, last year we are having problem here, really big problem. Because if you see, all this tent was not there last year, and with these toilets and all these facilities were not built up. And there are a lot of refuse dumps here all over. People are suffering. They are under the scorching sun and the rest. But with this year, we thank God very much. We thank God. We thank God. Everything is moving on successfully.
All right. Now, there was also another challenge, water challenge here last year.
Yeah.
How is the situation like today?
Oh, for today, I can see much improvement. Although there's no water flowing, but they brought in a water tanker as I'm here right now. I saw about two water tankers here. They filled up all these containers you can find there over there. Look at your back. You can see a heavy containers all being filled up with water. But, you know, with this year, we have something like going under the currency. So much problems under the currency. What really we see on the television is not what is appearing on the black market there. If you go in for dollar, I think you can find it on the currency market like something 31 point something. But if you go, it's almost 4,000 Ghana cedi. You see, it's equivalent to $1,000. You get me? $1,000 for 4,000. So if you are supposing you are going to premium, you have to get somewhere around from $1,500 or $2,000 ahead. So which is a really big problem. Almost 80 million and above. You see.
All right. There were those who were able to pay theirs before the city really appreciated this high. Yeah. Are you part of that? Or do you know someone who also had such an advantage?
Oh, I don't know, but I already heard something about that. My agent told me that some people have already paid, but with the dollar increase, it has affected them, and then they don't know what to do. But they were trying to talk to the people to ask something to do. They are denying. So, you know, it's either you lose or you gain.
All right. Now, let's talk about the pilgrimage itself. Yeah. How is the arrangements like? How are things moving on for you?
Oh, for this year, Alhamdulillah. As a Muslim tells you, Alhamdulillah, it means it's okay. We thank God. We thank God. Yeah, is it about from 16th planes have been taken off? Yesterday, some of move off, and then today we are expecting. Roughly, they have showed us that by somewhere around 2, the plane will lift off. So we don't get problem for this year.
So have you already had your ticket, or have you been cleared to go?
Surely. I have my ticket.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. You heard them. They are saying that everything seems to be improved from last year. Movement of people is going on quite well. Last year we were also at this particular point where women and children were suffering, were finding it difficult sitting in the scorching sun. Today, even though the weather is a bit okay, it's a bit okay now today, but people are still sitting down here, but they are happy because they believe that they have enough space and enough shelter to cater for them. Now the kids that were used to play around the dirty places are no more doing that. The place is so, last year this same place was a bit congested. We were finding it difficult to really do our reportage here. But today, see how free the place is. It's well arranged, everything is in order. People are sitting accordingly, and they have roofs that they can have their rest there for now. So I think for now, everything seems to be moving on well, Kemini, and I will hand you back to the studio.
Right, and so that's information live from the Hajj village, and I must admit, indeed, the place looks cleaner than when we covered it from the same area last year, and we look forward to a fruitful journey for our Muslim brothers and sisters who are visiting Saudi Arabia. But we'll continue to bring you updates from the Hajj village. But I'll just hit Facebook again. The question we've been asking this morning is, has Africa been able to live up to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's expectation? Osajefo Jamina says no. Saint Kobe says far from that. Presido de Darlington says not even trying. And Hussein Adam says Africa has not delivered to the expectation of Kwame Nkrumah. Well, Sesk Mula is asking, what are his expectations? Meanwhile, Silva Davis says, I don't think so. Our leaders are not visionary, bold and confident. The people cannot be left out as well. We need to change our mentality as a people. And those are your comments. I should share some of them with you in a bit. Well, meanwhile, Richard Kweku Asamoah says, because of our greedy, selfish leaders, we are marking time. And Lanaya Meyao Emmanuel Confidence says, not at all, we are far behind expectation. Carla Davis says, instead of narrowing it to Ghana for us to establish moot talks before extending it to Africa at large, look at what you're doing. Can Ghana grow with such accessions? I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I'll just move on to Celebo Blebu Deladem, and he says, not at all. They need to back up their vision. Eric Phillips thinks that the question should have been, have Africans been able to live to the expectation of God? Well, Eric is speaking a religious background there and says, God help Africa. But we've asked the question there. You either have an answer or you don't. Ishmael Imran says, Kwame Nkrumah will be the best person to answer this question, not you or I, because you are not in his mind. Interesting thoughts there. Kwejo Pariamwa says, not at all. Even what he did cannot be maintained. How much more meets his expectations? I'm really saddened when I hear the stuff that one person by proper leadership did, and up till now we can't even match it. I think we should scrap the whole Founders Day celebration because it's another avenue for people to make more money. We must bow our heads in shame. I ended up with Andrew Zewusu-Setre, or not, who says not yet, and it will never come to pass because the system does not accommodate honest people anymore. And leaders of this generation are retired in memory. How many mansions did Nkrumah have? Can anybody point out to me any Nkrumah's property here in Ghana? This shows you the difference between the Nkrumah regime and this regime of ours. What they only do is they create, loot, and share. And with George Nana Yeboah says, you will make Dr. Kwame Nkrumah weep in his grave if you continue to ask this question. We'll try not to make that happen.